Hey, this is Any Bloody Thing with myself, Braden Croft, and Travis Schucha. Today we're going to be talking about the highest grossing movies ever, Avengers Endgame and James Cameron's Avatar. So sit back and relax as we talk about the reigning champs at the box office, the House of Mouse versus Iron Jim.
Right, Barbara, I ran it under a cold tap.
You know what time it is. Clap it time. Piss on my own dick.
Oh, I pinched my fingers.
What are you, a fucking magician?
See my sleeves?
As you can clearly see, I've got nothing up my sleeves. Well,
okay, let's dive in.
I suppose we are back with Any Bloody Thing. I am Travis.
I am Braden. And this is Any Bloody Thing. First topic of the day, James Cameron versus Marvel Endgame. Have you heard the shit that James Cameron said?
No, inform me. Was it terrible?
It was so Canadian of him.
Yeah.
He said, I see you, Marvel. Congratulations on Avengers Endgame, on becoming the new box office king. To which they retorted, to James Cameron, you're a monumental reason why we fell in love with film in the first place. Thank you for always inspiring us and opening the world's eyes to what's possible. We can't wait to see where you take us next.
Yeah, that was very civil. I mean,
so civil.
What are you going to do, though? At the same point, you're going to hold, like, it happened. It is what it is. Like, you're going to hold a grudge, maybe personally, but you could never really say outwardly, screw Marvel. Like, they beat me with this garbage. Really, I mean.
When I think back on when Avatar came out after, 10 years since Titanic?
Yeah, it would have been about that.
Titanic picking up some Oscars, earning how many billions of dollars, putting it at the top of the list for earners.
Yeah, it was the world's biggest earning film at that point in time.
Yep. And huge things riding on it. The budget was insane. Probably $200 million plus.
Like, potentially studio breaking kind of money if things went south. Like, it was bad. Like, and as far as I understood, like, it kept on ballooning as the production would go. It just more and more and more.
And then the more I read about it and heard about it, the more you're like, oh my god, okay, he's doing a 3D film with cameras he's making, which he did. 3D technology that no one's really ever seen at that level. And by that time when I was watching it, I thought, or before I watched it, I thought, man, this guy is not only doubled down, he's like tripled down on, is this going to be a huge flop? And I kind of thought either the movie's going to make a whole shit ton of money because it's James Cameron, people are going to see it and love it, or they just want to see him fail miserably. But Avatar just came in and like knocked it out of the park. So that's what kind of blew me away. I'm like, how can you get two films back to back, mean, in his career, to hit the top mark like that and earn that much money?
It's true. The real question is what's Avatar 2 going to do? Not only is he like going to the bottom of the ocean to shoot scenes, which I think that's more of a James Cameron I can rather than I need to. I mean, the thing's already, all CG? Right? Like, the percentage of this that could have just been just a typical green screen, whatever. But James Cameron does what James Cameron wants, and he has the means to, and why not? If you can, I guess.
Tom Cruise on Mission Impossible. Yeah. Can you afford an awesome stunt double and amazing effects? Sure. Yeah. But he wants to get on that fucking plane.
It's just...
and ride up into the sky.
On premise, right? So I can respect that, whether it's needed or not, or whether it translates on film or not. But... not only doing crazy shit like that, but 3 movies back to back, I think it was. Was he doing 3 sequels or at least 2? Like, they're all in a row.
I think so, yeah.
Shooting them all back to back, which is crazy. What's that going to be?
Like $150 million per movie? Probably. But in relation to Marvel, it just blows me away that, Marvel has a lot of things going for it.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the backing of the studio for Disney, which is unparalleled because they're making a butt ton of money.
Yeah.
Spider-Man and the Avengers and every separate piece of the Avengers, they really executed that well, but that had a built-in audience through decades of comic books.
The comic industry, it's funny that it is such a small piece of that puzzle now. And even in the history of things, how many of these people watching these films truly read the comics? How many of them watched the animated series or whatever? I know a lot more, like, people our generation, like, watched some stuff, read some stuff. Like, there was some of that element.
Kids don't read comic books quite the same as they did in the 90s.
And I know even when I was, like, it was, it wasn't what it was before. The generation stuff before, I think comics were a bigger part. And slowly, it's funny, all the industry around comic books is booming and booming, all the conventions and this and that. But the actual comic book numbers, it doesn't reflect.
Not so much.
It doesn't grow with... Everybody loves the idea of what comic books are, but they're not really investing and enjoying what a comic book is to the same. So it's kind of unfortunate too, because I've always felt weird about that you would think, oh man, it's so exciting, all this comic book hype and all this success around the comic book industry, but the guys that created all this stuff, the guys at the heart and soul and root of it, with providing all this great source material that was actually what's making everybody billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
Fuck my life.
Intellectual property, it's basically been established for decades, some of which are half a century.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that on Marvel's side, if we're going to stack chips on, you know, who gets a little bit of a head start in these things, Marvel is way up there.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me someone's not going to see a Spider-Man movie just because it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Whereas, who knows what, Avatar is an original film.
Yeah.
I say original not because it didn't borrow from a lot of other films.
Oh, absolutely.
Which many do. But you look at it like, okay, Alien was a sequel, but James Cameron pushed that even further into something quite amazing, and I'm sure that success spawned the rest of the Alien franchise. And then he's also got the Terminator, which his original creation, and Terminator from no IP to a huge industry for itself,
and spawning
video games, comic books,
everything. Yeah, crazy boom.
Then Titanic, Titanic. You know, everyone knows the
Titanic's
story.
amazing though. When everyone walks in knowing the ending of the movie, and you still become the world's biggest earner. I mean, that in itself says something.
Shut up and take my money.
So it wasn't so much of
just a hype of disaster
of
film.
Titanic sinking. No. But then you have a young Leo DiCaprio who was on the rise.
Yeah.
He's not what he is now, obviously, because he was 20-something, I imagine. But yeah, it's like he turned Titanic into the top earner of all time.
Yeah. So
it's tough, man. Like, I'm happy for the Marvel people. They're doing it very well. I'm a little bit burnt out by superhero films. I'm
on both ends. I'm a superhero fan. I dig that stuff. But it's almost kind of like my girlfriend will say, like, oh, isn't like another Spider-Man, isn't like they come out like every Tuesday.
And I don't mind the superhero films as long as it's not to the detriment of original content coming out.
Yeah.
Because that's what kills me. It's like, with one of these films at $150 million, that could be broken up into $50 and $10 million pictures. For directors who, in maybe 10 or 20 years' time, could be the next Spielberg. There's a lot of
people that are not going to get a chance on things because of that. And let's face it, there's only so much money in Hollywood.
There's only one director per picture, usually.
Within reason.
Yeah.
So, where's this money go? It does hurt. The big blockbuster mentality of right now with killing those kind of medium films, which when we were growing up, that was there wasn't so many blockbusters. It'd be like one per summer. 2, you know, like you would get your big, huge, like everybody saw it that year, and that was that movie. Yeah. And each summer would have a couple, maybe a winter one around Christmas, and that was it. And now it's not like that anymore, and it's really it has affected. It's either like, I know we've talked about this many times, but the small film or the huge, and that mid ground is just kind of disappearing rapidly, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. I guess
until they start losing money on it.
Yeah.
Is what I was thinking.
And hard money.
And it would be nice to say, like, well, they make, I don't know how many billions of dollars, then that trickles down to the other films.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm not really buying the trickle-down economics of filmmaking as far as that's concerned.
No.
So,
especially on that level. Gotta be there.
In a sense, do you think that Marvel has really taken the crown as, let's call it, the biggest dog on campus?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Between whether you call it Marvel or Disney. I mean, Disney doing their Star Wars game the same way.
I think what I'm leaning towards, like, I totally agree with you. The numbers are there.
Even Avatar, is it owned by Fox now, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
They still win.
That too, yeah.
They still win.
I gotta say, for Endgame to take the prize as a top earner, I don't want people to forget that, okay, Endgame, you got how many actors do you think would you call A-list on that? At least a dozen?
Yeah. You look at the poster on that movie, right? Like,
and then you look at, and I'm not trying to detract from their talents, but let's look at Avatar lead. Oh my God, Sam Worthington,
who was pretty much made into a star from that film.
But he was nobody really before that. No one really knew him.
He was an Australian construction worker or something. Like, he was like a carpenter. Yeah. I remember hearing his story, and he's lucky and got discovered. But I remember the summer he came out with that film, there was Avatar, Terminator 4, and Clash of the Titans, and he was in all of them. It was just like all of a sudden he just appeared and he was an A-list and everything.
Yeah. Sigourney Weaver, like
Sigourney, I mean,
suffice it to say, she's not quite A-list as she once was with Alien and all those franchises.
Sure, but she's earned the right to pick and choose more. And,
for sure,
yeah.
And it's cool for Jim Cameron to actually take her and bring her back into the fold.
Yeah,
but still, let's be real. Like my point being, Avatar did not have a star-studded cast to pull in people
to the same degree. No,
and whether you believe in star system existing today, because some people say, wow, stars aren't like the Bogey days where you got Humphrey Bogart and all these other people that quite literally drew in a crowd based on their name.
But when I look at the Avengers and things like that, I can say otherwise.
Yeah, you can't tell me even little kids don't know, who the Tony Stark actor is.
Exactly.
Or who plays Thor.
Yeah.
Like they recognize
I think if anything, that brought back the movie star a little bit more.
Probably.
Yeah.
I guess my whole point in this was, man, James Cameron is the bee's knees. He may have been knocked down from the throne for now, but for all the original stuff that blew the doors open, I got to give him full credit for.
Oh, and I'm still really interested in
Roost.
seeing what he does with Avatar. I think after this, I just hope it can live up to the expectations, because it's like other things, like the Chinese democracy with Guns N' Roses, right? You build up hype for so many years. Will it live up to it? Will he reclaim his throne? Or will it kind of get washed out? Because Avatar, being, like you said, an original IP, will people forget about it a little bit? Whereas these comic book movies have been coming out so often and having so many tied-in characters with whatever one is in theater right now. You saw them in the last movie, probably.
And they hold you over until the next epic Endgame.
Exactly.
Right? Can you imagine a sequel waiting for like 13 years? Like not even a sequel from an obscure film, but a sequel from a Titanic IP. You know what I mean?
Oh, like it would just kill you.
That's wild.
And the thing too is, if the first sequel tanks, you got that other one, the barrel. It's like, what do you do? It's done. You shot them together. It makes me stressed out even thinking about it. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. And what are we gonna say? Good luck, James Cameron. Like as if
he needs it. But
the guy's basically Spielberg 2.0. I like to call him Spielborg.
Spielberg, yeah.
He's just the semblance.
One.
Yeah, they're just like a Borg unit, and they share the mind hive. And they're just like the accumulated parts of lesser filmmakers.
Yeah, that's right. They just eliminate all the bad and just become like this entity of its own that just makes blockbuster films that people remember forever.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Be sure to give a like and subscribe if you're digging our show, and don't forget to chime in on who you think the true box office champion is. It's anybody's thing. Catch you next week.